So I've had some time to catch up on television. I watched the show called The Bear on Hulu on FX, and it's excellent. Out of nowhere, Jay texted me, "Hey, by the way, I watched The Bear. Didn't know what it was. Looked it up. Saw our boy from Shameless, and I was like, oh, cool. It's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. The average tomato meter, average audience score is 93. I just found that out right now, by the way. I didn't know that. But Jeremy Allen White, who plays Lip from Shameless, leads this show. And most recently, yesterday actually, at work, some people asked me, hey, what shows was I watching? And The Bear was the first one and the only one that I really wanted to gush over and talk about. It's excellent, and it's very unsuspecting. First of all, it's insanely watchable. So this is a much easier sell than if I even recommend like a Marvel show. Like if I'm not going to recommend Moon Knight, I'm not going to recommend Miss Marvel first. I'm going to recommend The Bear because it's 8 roughly 30 minutes, sometimes even shorter episodes in its first season. It is such a breezy, entertaining watch. It's going to stay in my top 10, no doubt about it. I made a list the other day how many shows I have to watch. It was like probably in the 20s and 30s how many shows that I have to watch. But I'm so glad that I watched The Bear. So take this recommendation seriously. If you need a show and you feel overwhelmed with all the shows you have to catch up on, knock The Bear out. Because I did it you could definitely do it in a day. I did it in 2 days because I'm not a crazy person. So if you want to know what it's about, it's like a workplace Shameless almost. The tone of it is very similar to Shameless. It takes place in Chicago. He plays Jeremy Allen White. He doesn't play. Both of his characters are tough, and stressed out. They're not really that similar, but if you watch Shameless, you feel at home. It's kind of like, yeah, it's like a workplace focused Shameless, but it also has so many other attractive qualities to it that make it so watchable. I believe that Hiro Murai is involved, who is definitely a part of Atlanta and a whole bunch of other FX properties and shows. But Jeremy Allen White plays this 5-star chef who was handed his brother's restaurant after his sudden death. And this show exists, but it doesn't focus on it all. I think it's actually mentioned only once the entire show. This does live in a COVID world, a post-COVID world, where they're trying to get the business back up and running post-COVID and after the sudden death of his brother, who's played by John Bernthal, of all people. So basically what he has to deal with is grief. He has to deal with being in over his head while also feeling like he's too good to be there. Because again, he's a 5-star chef. He's classically trained. He worked in one of the highest profile restaurants in the entire world. They kind of dive into that a little bit. They show a few flashbacks. He was heavily abused by his instructor, played by Joel McHale. They give us a little bit of that. But it's definitely a workplace show because it deals with all the different personalities. It's Shameless meets Waiting, almost, if it existed during COVID. But it deals with all the personalities and deals with things that I'm familiar with, working in customer service. You know, you have all the old school people that work there, and they have these new, young, aspirational people coming in to wanting to change things and fix the business, and they want the old ways. It's very old way versus new way. It's just a very, very rich, but fresh and quick. And it's just so insanely watchable. It really is. So he deals with all of his family issues while also just being randomly funny. And it kind of reminded me of Atlanta in that way. Atlanta has this like fantastical humor a lot of the time that's really laugh out loud and sporadic. But The Bear's not fantastical in that way. But it does randomly just make you laugh when you least expect it. There's another young actress who goes toe-to-toe with Jeremy Allen White. I don't want to mispronounce her name, but I believe it's Ayo Edebiri. She plays Sydney. I've never seen her in anything before, but she is wonderful. She plays a new hire that is also an aspirational cook. She's a writer or she played a writer. Wait, what? She's in What We Do in the Shadows somehow, either as a writer or she played a writer. She's also been in Big Mouth, and yeah, so she's done very few things, but this is the first thing I've seen her in, and she did a great job. And I'm excited to see what else she does. She does a really good job. Anyway, it's a very interesting cast all around. A bunch of new people. They feel like real people because I'm not really familiar with any of them as actors beyond the show. So it feels insanely real in that way. So again, it's 8 episodes, average 30 minutes. You're in and out. It's a quick watch, but it's one of the best shows that I've seen in a while, actually. Like, this just has me really, really excited. The 5th episode is essentially just a short film, and it's, if I remember correctly, entirely continuous shot. Now, I don't know if it's actually a continuous shot, but it's shot where the camera is just moving around the set the entire time. There's no cuts. It's in real time, so I believe it's a 26-minute episode. It takes place over 26 minutes before they open the restaurant, before they open for takeout and to-go orders. And it's so stress-inducing, and I have to believe that it's real. I mean, I can relate to it in some ways, but I have to believe that's exactly how it is. And it's just incredible. Like, the filmmaking is incredible. So, again, watch The Bear. The entire season right now is on FX on Hulu, and I think it's probably my favorite show of the year so far. I have not watched a lot of television this year. It's mostly just like the Disney Plus stuff that I feel like I have to watch. I'm in the middle of watching Severance, but right now The Bear is maybe it's not my favorite show, but it's easily the greatest recommendation I can make. So please check it out, The Bear. I promise you will not be disappointed.